They wanted to have a second meeting so they can discuss what? This proposal. But they don't like the policies that he's instilled in 4 months. So you know what they did? Last week, y'all saw that tweet, that video I did prior to this one? They said, you know, Mr. Trump, forget that. We don't want your policies. We don't even want to work with you. We won't even meet with you.
Boy, I'm telling you, God is my witness. You gon' sit right here and listen till I'm finished. Cause you ain't got nowhere to go. Don't think I don't know that you ain't been telling the truth.
Did I not tell you? Don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Do not tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I told you they were going to buffoon our president. When he went in there, he told them, look, I'm going to give you guys opportunity. I'm going to give you an opportunity to meet with me, discuss with me your needs, your desires, and your wants. You're watching Shirley's World. Make sure that you have your handy-dandy notebook, your cell phone,
Get your handy-dandy notebook,
and your mind open.
You're watching
You know, remember
Shirley's
I told
World.
you back in March? Look at my March videos when I told you that they were going to buffoon the president when they were given an opportunity to meet with him. These people. These congressional black people who seem to have a concern about black America. What they did was they left him this. I got a copy for you. They left him this. We have a lot to lose. I know it's backwards, but it's called We Have a Lot to Lose. Well, what do we have a lot to lose of? It's 125 pages. Now, everybody says 130. I missed 5 pages. I don't know. Mine is numbered, and it's numbered, so it's not like, you know, it printed out 125. My last number on my page is 125. But it's 125 pages of BS, because can you imagine being the president of the United States, having your representative, Omarosa, meet with these people? Okay, we met with them. We'd like to talk to you, Mr. Trump.
What was his response to the issues that were raised by the Black Caucus?
He mentioned that he's open to dialogue, open to building relationships with the CBC, and he'd like to have frequent meetings.
And so this will not be the only meeting CBC will have with him?
No, in fact, he pushed us to have maybe quarterly meetings. So we'll see. I mean, obviously our schedules are crazy, but he promised to meet with us quite regularly.
And also cabinet secretaries?
Absolutely, and the vice president.
Now, what was the document that you presented this year?
We have a lot to lose. Solutions to advance black families in the 21st century. This is the Black Caucus document. We're covering infrastructure. We're covering police reform. We're covering education. We're covering a plethora of issues and concerns that are highlighted in this document. We gave it to the president, we gave it to the administration, and they're going to take a look at it, and we're going to hold them accountable to what's in this document.
They gave this man a proposal this thick. See this proposal? They gave that to the president of the United States. They sat back, they dissected it. They wanted to have a second meeting so they can discuss what? This proposal. But they don't like the policies that he's instilled in 4 months. So you know what they did? Last week, y'all saw that tweet, that video I did prior to this one? They said, you know, Mr. Trump, forget that. We don't want your policies. We don't even want to work with you. We won't even meet with you. What idiots have the audacity to say to the President of the United States of America, who has the power to make changes for a culture of people nationally, that they don't want to meet with the president? What idiots? I'm going to tell you the idiots. Their name is the Congressional Black Caucus. Caucus that cares about themselves and only those who they want to be engaged with. Listen to this.
Congressman Carson, as a former police officer, also Muslim, what do you want this president to know and understand?
Well, I was very direct about the comments that were made during the campaign and while in the White House, and how they've exacerbated the sentiment of Islamophobia. I acknowledge that as a Muslim, I worked in intelligence as a police officer. I'm on the intelligence committee. There are Muslims in the administration who work for the State Department, who work for Homeland Security, who give us the necessary information to keep Americans safe. There are Muslims who work for Trump Enterprises. He's had investments in Muslim countries, and he acknowledged that fences need to be mended.
Now, how can this man, who is a representative for us, talk about us when his agenda was different? Listen to a representative of Indiana, Andrew Carson. Carson said it again. Let me play it for you.
Well, I was very direct about the comments that were made during the campaign and while in the White House and how they've exacerbated the sentiment of Islamophobia. I acknowledge that as a Muslim, I worked in intelligence.
He said that he is there talking about the Muslims and himself. Listen to how Roland set him up.
Congressman Carson, as a former police officer, also Muslim.
Okay, then he repeated it. Okay, who are these people fighting for? How they gonna say they represent us, they don't represent us? That is some unreal truths. That's some unreal truths. Let's continue on. Then we have Richardson, who's up there saying, oh, we're gonna work with him. We are appreciative for the opportunity. If we can work it into our schedule. Who can't work in their schedule to meet with the President of the United States?
Donald Trump's the President of the United States. We represent 78 million Americans. If you look at unemployment in the black community, it's twice that of the white community. If you look at crime, if you look at academics and funding, entrepreneurship, if you look at a number of the indicators, we don't have the luxury to not meet with the president because our people are going to suffer, the 78 million we represent. So, and we also felt an obligation to come and offer a different viewpoint, provide some sort of education to that extent, and advocate for our people.
Ludicrous. Listen to this.
Again, from your perspective, why was it important for the CBC to sit down with this president?
You know, we really do have a responsibility. If you take the flip side of it and say, should the Congressional Black Caucus for 4 years not meet with the President of the United States, not raise issues, not fight for issues that are important to our community, we can't walk away from the fact that he is the President of the United States. So regardless of how people might feel about him individually or their emotions, we do have a responsibility to our folks. And I think that it was very important that we were here.
Okay, so that is right after the first meeting in March. Now we are into the second part of this, which is now we're in the month of June, which is almost 5 months into this administration. And what did they say? Oh, we ain't listening to them. They had the audacity, I really think it's their egos that are involved, to post on their Twitter page that the letter that Omarosa provided them, the representative for the president, and the people are who we are, the Trumpicans, the people who believe that this administration is going to do something if we provide them legislation and show them that we can unite on a cause for the embetterment of people of color. The indigenous children, I wrote it down, the children of inherited Negro slaves. That's what I am. The children of inherited Negro slaves. You know, I had to write that down because for some reason Camilla Harris seems to be a part of that. When she is Jamaican and Asian and she went to a black school and ate some greens. Now all of a sudden that girl's black. Come on. Y'all got people on the Congressional Black Caucus that aren't even children of the indigenous Negro slaves. Listen to this part.
You have become the main reason for them saying that they don't want to be part of a reality TV show. April Ryan put out a series of tweets saying that somehow that you were creating or starting fights with members of the Congressional Black Caucus, and they just don't want to be a part of it.
Well, it's very contradictory when they say that they haven't been in communication with us, and yet they put out rumors that I've been in communication with them. So it's obvious that they don't have their story together. The truth of the matter is they sat in front of the President and the Vice President of the United States on March the 22nd right here at the White House and made a commitment to meet with the President to work through the myriad of issues that they presented. They have 49 members of the Congressional Black Caucus from different districts all over this country. Resolving their issues in a month and a half is just not possible, but coming to the table over and over again to work through these issues is the only effective way to get where they wanted to go. And instead, they're showboating and they're actually shorting out their constituents that they committed to represent by not coming to meet with the president.
And what I find interesting is the idea is that there are so many problems that are plaguing specifically the black community. To worry about the sort of things that they're talking about right now and allowing that to supersede the attempt to make progress. Every group that I know that we've seen business people come over and over and over again.
Yes,
we've seen labor come over and over again.
Yes.
You know, this doesn't happen, and you don't go there once and walk away with everything you want.
Well, you do when you don't have a serious commitment. It's obvious by his response to my letter inviting them back, as they committed to. It's obvious that they had no intention of ever sitting with the president. In fact, they called the invitation a social gathering, which nowhere in my letter did it ever say that it was social, but that just goes to show you that they're not serious. But if we think back, Charles, to their relationship with the previous administration, they had none. In fact, they had a very contentious relationship with the previous administration because of these same type of antics. In fact, Barack Obama didn't meet with the Congressional Black Caucus until 600 days into his administration. We met with them on March 22nd, which was at the 60-day mark of our administration. So the math doesn't lie. We were making a concerted effort, and unfortunately, they're not committed to getting their constituent issues on the table and at the forefront.
In the White House, and when these discussions do come up, what's the feeling? What's the mindset here? Because so many different things have been attempted over the last 5 decades or so to help inner cities.
Yes.
And we know that it's a dire situation, and despite what's happening with the overall country, it's always worse off.
Well, I'll tell you what my feeling is. I'm not going to be discouraged by the lack of leadership by Cedric Richmond and his decision not to meet with the president. I'm going to continue to fight for those in the inner cities and the black community that really want help. They want to focus on jobs. They want to focus on the economy, on education, on crime, on safety. And just because of these antics by the CBC, that doesn't mean that they cannot get their issues heard. I'm going to continue to fight and meet with people and meet individually with members of the Congressional Black Caucus because it's important, and it's a commitment that the president made for 2.5 years on the campaign. We talked about him fighting for the inner city, talking to the American community, asking them, what have you gained from your loyalty with the Democratic Party? And I can tell you, if you look at the major inner cities, you look at Detroit, you look at Chicago, you look at New Orleans with Democratic leadership, and they're in really bad situations, bad conditions, and they need to come to the table. They need to be at every table fighting for their constituents. Right. But the only way to get heard is by coming to the table, and they've refused to do that.
Well, speaking of antics, Maxine Waters, Representative Waters, has been really over the top with calls for impeachment of the president. Certainly, that's not the right way to start a dialogue or any sort of diplomacy.
Oh, yeah, they have decided that they're going to resist for 4 years. Well, I will say to you, if you live in a district represented by the Congressional Black Caucus and your members refuse to do their job, then I would rethink and reconsider my support of those members.
Now, I don't understand. You tell me. You tell me. After she sat back and gave a complete breakdown, we met with them, we like to meet with them again, and they decide not to. Where does this put us at? I'm going to tell you where it's going to put you at. But before I put you there, I want you to think of something, by the way. It's summertime, and I need some summer air here, some air there. I got a fan real quick. I got my church fan. You know them black church fans they give you? I put Urban Game Changers on here, which you guys probably see backwards. Make sure you join, sign up, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Make sure that you subscribe to my video on YouTube, and also subscribe to me on Facebook. Okay. Commercial plugs. You gotta do them, right? Thank y'all so much for sharing videos. Oh my God. Donations. Jesus is Lord. Thank you so much for those who continue to donate. $5, $20, $100. I am trying to get a better camera. I need about $2 grand. So anybody want to give some money, I'm grateful. Go to urbangamechangers.com. Go to and sign up. You can give a monthly donation of $20 or $10, $5. It all adds up. Those who have been giving, oh, God bless you. Bless you, bless you. Okay, so let's go back. The Congressional Black Caucus has one agenda, and that is to fight the Trump administration to the duration of the end. That's the first 4 years. That is their job. They were buffooning the president, and I told you why. And let me tell you again, because they never intended to work with him. They were pressured by April and the media to put something together, and they did. And then once they put something together, they never intended to talk to him about those issues. Not those issues. Not at all. They intended just to try to act like they cared of concern of black community. Now I want to tell you about a couple of websites I want you to check out. First, the Congressional Black Caucus is a .gov website, which means that it is a U.S. government site. That's what it is. It's a U.S. government site. They are sanctioned by the government for their website. The Jewish Coalition has their site. The Chinese have their site. And the Latino Coalition has theirs. I'm going to break those down real quick too. We're going back to the Congressional Black Caucus. They're also funded by the government, and it says it on their website. I want you to do that and go there and look that up. I'm going to give you the links and all the information down below. As I further looked into the Congressional Black Caucus, I don't think you guys know that the Congressional Black Caucus also has a foundation that they claim is partisan. That means they are open to other parties involved, though they consist of Democrats. The Congressional Black Caucus started in 1971 of all Democrats who claimed that they were going to make changes in the black community. And the Democrats' mindset, remember, is socialism and is expanded governmental programs. It's not about getting money in the hands of businesses and black people. Even with the today's technology where you can do so much, their whole thing is keeping us suppressed. Suppress, suppress, suppress. Remember, suppress, suppress, suppress. That is their agenda within the Democrat Party. Why? Because that's what they've always wanted to do. If you look in your scroll and you look at the website, and you'll see over the time frame, on their website, they really don't talk about wealth and opportunity. They talk about Nixon, like they're doing with Trump. They talk about Nixon, then they talk about they were happy to get Obama in office, and that was their whole history. That's it. I'm not making this up. Go to this website that you see right here, and you will see in their history, that is the three things they talk about. Their existence, the issues with Nixon, which half of y'all wasn't born with, so you don't even know what that was about, and then Obama. That's it. They don't talk about what they've accomplished and what they've done. But what you can see is what they support is another website, which a lot of black people don't know about, and you don't either. And I'm going to make you up to this one. It's the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation. That foundation has been designed to specifically choose certain children in urban communities. I'm saying urban, but I don't think it's urban at all. Specific communities to come on board. They pay for their housing and their school, and they say they give scholarships for those who are interested for political reasons. Well, those political reasons, what are they? They talk about that on the website. It seems like a very good program, but this is the problem I have with it. They said that they have $4 million that they gave out or they raised in 2013. Go to their website. You can see it right here. Go to their website. You can see it right there. It's cbcfinc.org. It's a .org and not a .gov. So that means that foundation can receive non-partisan money. They probably got money from foreign lands. Check it out. Probably got donations from the Clinton Foundation. And it's interesting how they don't even talk about the Clinton Foundation, the Reagan. They don't talk about any of the administrations in between. They go from Nixon to Obama. Explain that one. That's a whole nother story.
The Congressional Black Caucus Foundation is a public policy, education, and research institute committed to improving the socioeconomic circumstances of African Americans in underserved communities. Each semester we recruit, train, and provide opportunities for college students, recent graduates, and people from all across the globe to work on Capitol Hill and several other federal agencies.
This opportunity means a lot to me. Not many young black men at my age are able to say, I worked on Capitol Hill for the summer. I was gonna work at Staples this summer, and 2 weeks before I was about to, work at Staples, I got a call and said I'm working on Capitol Hill with my Congressman Bobby Rush.
The Congressional Black Caucus Foundation internship program is very important to me, as I think it is important to the African American community. The reason is because the programs really invest in a future that we may not see. And we do this by preparing the next generation of leaders to take on the challenges to ensure that we all can achieve the American dream.
One of the things that makes our programs unique would be that anyone who is admitted is providing with a stipend and housing. The CBCF has long been a fervent believer that no matter where you come from, if you have the ability and the willingness to serve, you should not be deprived of an opportunity to intern in DC simply because you or your family cannot afford it.
That foundation does do things within black youth. They don't talk about black urban communities or the issues in the middle class poor blacks on the website. They give you the persona of helping black children understand the positions in politics and the operational aspects of it. That's one thing. But when we talk about middle class poor or middle class blacks and getting money into the black community and dealing with the mass incarceration and dealing with the 500 children missing and dealing with the Margaret Sanger of pushing to get more abortions within our community and dealing with the lack of fathers in the black community and men who are incarcerated on bullcrap like weed, we're not addressing that because that's too earthy and that's too real and that's too raw. We rather talk about let's get nice, more educated people who do educated nothing. That's what they do. That's the way I look at it. So make sure you check out the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation. That doesn't mean that these two groups, the Congressional Black Caucus or the Congressional Black Foundation, or coalition to represent all of us. It represents a marginalized group that supports governmental programs and foundations. I need you to be conscious of that. So what we need is solutions. So let me give you solutions. The solution that we need from Mr. Trump is this. Omarosa, you know I love you. This is my message to you and anybody associated with you. Circumvent them Negroes. Circumvent the Negroes that aren't real Negroes, that say they represent Negroes, but they represent themselves. Why do I say it like that? Again, Kamala Harris is on there. She ate some greens and that made her black. That woman ain't even black. And what does black mean? Because everybody came in black. If you're from Jamaica, if you're from the islands, you black. You are not black. I'm talking about specifically the children of the indigenous Negro slave. Those people. Even if you half of that, you say you came from one country and your daddy is one of them, you got the blood, you win. I want to talk about the Negro children that are inherited of the slave children. I want the benefits of that, and I want to see a group created out of this administration that's going to represent all of us and not marginalize. In conclusion, I want you to realize there are other organizations that are coalitions. I've had people on the website say to me, well, what about the white coalition? What about the white caucus? You know, that's the most ignorant thing you could ever say to a black person. I'm tired of when I mention things pertaining African American, black, indigenous Negro slaves who have given so much to this country for 400 years. And you coming along in the back door on the audacity because you want to put your face out there or your name out there and tell me about you need the white quote unquote whatever. When you can clearly see, I told you there's an Asian coalition, there's a Jewish coalition, and there's a Latino coalition. The difference is the blacks talked about 4 million and the Latinos talked about 60 million. The Latino coalition also doesn't believe in assimilating and they don't believe in associating. They will not assimilate and they will not associate. What they do is they colonize. Listen to what I'm telling you. They are coming into California and they are creating colonies of their culture, of people. You go to certain areas, they don't have anything in English. When you turn on the TV, on the free TV with the antenna, they have channels that are not in English. They are in Chinese, they're in Japanese, and most of all, they're in Spanish. So we are in a state that is under suppression right now, and we are asking for the government and the federal government to intervene because California is being colonized. They're becoming Borgs into the Latin community, and the leadership of this state, especially the black leadership, have sold their soul to whatever side it was to convert what black people still left here, which is only 6%. Still pray for your states. Look for what's coming up. I wrote an article on Community Digital News talking about the colonized issues that are taking place. Now, I didn't call it colonized. It's basically the illegal immigration and immigration checks that will be taking place because the states have to be accountable and make aware to the federal government who these people are and where they live. But what we are finding out in California that we have people who don't assimilate, they don't associate, and they don't want to learn or conform to the language within this country. They basically stay within themselves, and it's basically causing a lot of tension and friction because a lot of people here are done. They're done. The Black Coalition, let me give you some words of advice. We're done with you. I said from the beginning you're buffoonery. You're marginalized. You focus on a specific special groups, and you don't talk about middle class poor, which I mentioned earlier. You don't really care about middle class poor. All you want to do is fight, and angry. That's not going to help the energy that we need within our community. Get our black men out of prison. Let the black man and black father go back home. Let that grandfather go back home. He done served enough time. Let the communities go back to what they used to be by having black men in there. Black men are strong, bold, and they do have common sense, unlike how you like to have us personify us and shown to the world as if we're incompetent or lazy or can't get anything done. What we are is being pushed back so far that you're playing with the millennials' mind as if they're unworthy. Millennials, you are worthy, you are strong, and you are on point. Do not let the Black Caucus tell you that you're not worthy to meet with the president. Have faith in Omarosa. Have faith in the black leadership, the new black leadership that is arising from this administration that will be making changes within the community and have the power to make change. Because without power, you are nothing. You need two things to make it: money and numbers. And they don't have it. We don't have any numbers because we've been devastated by the Clinton administration with mass incarceration and abortion. And we don't have the money because the Black Caucus are doing backdoor deals and taking governmental monies and doing trades every time there's a new president to keep their pockets full. And how can you be an elected official or multimillionaire? You never ran anything. You never owned anything. You never controlled a company. But you know how to move governmental money, people's money, in your best interest on your government website. I'm sorry. I'm tired of government people using us. We are going to come together under this administration. Omarosa is doing an excellent job. She gave you an opportunity. She did protocol. She went ahead and said, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to invite all you Negroes. I'm going to go to all you Negro organizations and give you an opportunity to talk to Mr. Trump. Now that you done wasted his time and ours as well, Omarosa, go ahead and start a circumvention. Circumvent these people, if that's such a word. Circumvent these people and put good black leaders in the urban communities who get it. You know who they are. You know who they are in Los Angeles. You know who they are nationally. The ones you have a good gut feeling about. Sit down and put proposals and legislation together and get them together and present to Mr. Trump and ignore the Black Caucus. They're wasting time. They're going to be barking dogs for 4 years. We don't have 4 years. Every year, every month, somebody dying. All them dead black people, they didn't want to address why. I know why we didn't go with Mr. Trump. Didn't you read, Shirley, that part where they sent back and told all those things? Oh, that was under that previous administration? Again, we've only been in charge for 5 months. This previous administration is what the issues they were dealing with. The mass incarceration, the constant killings, the police who are untrained and unskilled. Come on now. These are things that was not under the Trump administration. This has commenced and rolled even heavier under the Obama administration. Why didn't they get on him and stop all that? But then they're going to blame Trump for the black people that got killed 2 and 3 and 4 or 5 years ago in the mass incarceration that happened all the way going back to what? Clinton administration. And if you don't know about that, then you look up Michelle Alexander, the new Jim Crow. She'll update you and educate you on that. I can go on and on and on. Omarosa. Circumvent the CBC. The Congressional Black Caucus are not a coalition of black people that care about the well-being of the middle class poor or the average black people. They don't understand the urban communities. They don't care. They're old. They're outdated. They got 1 foot on the ground and 1 in the grave. Let them keep going down. We don't want them no more. I appreciate you guys watching. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And remember, hold your head up. Hold your head up. Be proud. God made a good person in you. Use common sense. Don't take this as an attack. Take this as an opportunity to learn and grow. Thank you so much.